Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall.
This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the Seven Kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the Seven Kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm.
Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-IRECT-TV.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war. as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And I know because I checked today, as I check every day, and it still hasn't changed, which is a good thing. It is Wednesday, April the 15th, in the year of our Lord 2015, Hump Day and a Tax Day. Yeah, so you definitely have to get out your taxes by today if you haven't already done so. You're definitely going to want to do that. It is definitely needed to be done by, or get one of those automatic extensions. Hey, it is no phone. I'm sorry, no phone number this evening. We're still grappling with being able to take live phone calls on the air here while we're over here at Spreaker. Got some. Well, no, I can't really make any announcements yet today. Later this week, this Friday, we'll be making some more major announcements. So you're going to want to tune in on Friday for some more wonderful news about me and this wonderful program that keeps growing by leaps and bounds on a daily basis. And I thank you for listening because you're the ones that are making it happen. I just bring you the news and my commentary and my take and my logic, and you do the listening. And that's the most important part, because if nobody listened, then I'd be talking to myself. Really. So Hillary's out there on the campaign trail, so we'll be talking a little bit about Hillary this evening. Got some, well, start off with some Harry Reid news. Now, y'all are, start off with I know some people are probably thinking, well, because you're in New England, Rod, what do you think about the Aaron Hernandez trial and the outcome of that? I mean, the man's life is over. He's been sentenced to life in prison. Yeah. He was found guilty of first-degree murder. I haven't been following the trial. I really wasn't interested. And I wasn't interested mainly because it's just another murder trial. And two, I'm not a Pats fan, so to speak. I'm not if the Pats are playing, I might watch them. I might even, depending on who they're playing, I might even root for them to win. But I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I am not a New England Patriots fan. So if this were, but I'm going to be frank. Even if Hernandez was playing for the Steelers, I wouldn't be all that interested in the trial. See, I'm not interested in players' personal or private life. Well, Rod, this is a very public issue. We're talking about murder. Well, that is true, but you know what? He deserves a fair trial just like anybody else. It doesn't matter what your celebrity status is. You deserve a fair trial. He got one. He was found guilty. And according to the laws of the state of Massachusetts, the mandatory sentence is life in prison without parole because they don't want to put anybody to death in Mass. So, he's in his 20s. Yeah, his life is over in his 20s. I don't even know. I'm not going to say that I advocate the death penalty, although in some cases I do. Some cases, I do advocate the death penalty. I'm not going to lie about that. But in most cases, it is what it is. And you do the crime, and now you're going to have to do the time, and that's the case with Aaron Hernandez. He did the crime. Now he has to do a lot of time, the rest of his lifetime. And from what I understand, he's not out of the woods yet. I guess there's another case in Boston where he's accused of a double murder or being involved in a double. I don't know. I don't follow Aaron Hernandez. And now I just think it's really pretty much a waste of taxpayer time and money to go through. That justice has to be done. We have to, justice has to be served and he has to be put on trial for those other crimes. Well, I don't think it's going to make any difference. You can't punish the man anymore, and there is no death penalty. So what's the use? Why are you going to spend the money, waste the money on trying to find him guilty of 2 more murders? So what? So you can give him 2 more life sentences? I mean, one's enough. I mean, the people of Massachusetts and indeed the country are going to be paying for this man for the rest of his. Now, here's a guy. Now, this is a sad fact. And I know some people are going to be kind of slightly offended that I'm going to use this type of logic. But it's the fact. It's a fact. These are the facts. It's the truth. And as I've said, sometimes people don't like the truth. The truth is, here was a young man that had everything in front of him. I mean, he had fame. He had a career in football, making a lot of money and the potential to make even more. Now, understand, with all that income potential was the potential to pay a lot in taxes. This guy was going to make a lot of money, and he was going to pay a lot in taxes. So now, instead of him paying a lot in taxes, I don't know what's going to happen to his estate. I'm sure, that it'll still be there, but he won't be making any more of the big dollars that he was when he was playing for the New England Patriots. So he's out there. He's taken off the tax rolls, basically. He's been taken off the tax rolls. So instead of him paying taxes into the system, a lot of taxes, the taxpayer is now going to be footing a large tax bill every year to keep him incarcerated. So Aaron Hernandez not only is found guilty of murder and becomes a convicted murderer, felon, criminal, but he's now much like a welfare recipient in the fact that he's gone from taxpayer to tax receiver. So because we're going to have to pay for him for the rest of his life. So there is something to be said about being humane by convicting people to the death chair. And by humane, it is a little bit humane for them because, what kind of a life are you going to have? And you're just probably going to cause an awful lot of trouble. You're not on death row, but you're on life row. Nothing to lose. But I'm referring to it being more humane for the rest of us not having to continually pay for this guy for the rest of his natural life. So there you have it. You know, the jury reached their decision. I'm sure it was fair and square. I'm sure they were well reasoned when they went over all the evidence. And I'm sure that they will. I've heard some of them being interviewed after their verdict, and because the judge, I guess, informed them of other charges and trials that he has coming up that that the jurors were not privy to during the trial. And they said many of the jurors said, well, yeah, that it just hearing all that extra information. Most of the jurors said that they would be able to sleep doubly well tonight, knowing that they did the right thing. So, if they are that sure in with their decision and their verdict, then who am I to question it at this particular point in time? Because there doesn't seem to be any other evidence that would prove his innocence. Really, there doesn't seem to be any. Maybe we're missing something. I don't know. I didn't follow the trial, but there just doesn't seem to be any. There was no, non-smoking gun, if you will, to prove his innocence. So, goodbye, Aaron Hernandez. From the roles of the wealthy to Aaron Hernandez, convict and a drainer on the tax system. Thank you very much for being so arrogant that you thought you could get away with murder. And you didn't, evidently. You didn't. Harry Reid. I'm sure you've probably heard this story by now. Well, we all know that Harry Reid, I guess, the last medical report about Harry is that he's still blind in that one eye, in the right eye. And we're hearing reports now that I think I brought you this report earlier or late last week that there were people who thought that Reed was possibly beat up by somebody, by a family member, and it was not an exercise or skiing accident as he originally or first reported. And I said that I even told you none of that. The accident just didn't make any sense. The way that it was described, it didn't make any sense. There wasn't the injuries were not consistent with what the reason or excuse was for his face cheekbone fracture and eye blindness. It didn't make any sense. I'm not a medical professional, but that didn't make any sense. And so now we're learning. Again, hey, if you probably heard it here first. I told you that there was something wrong with it, the story. But now there's a story coming out that Harry Reid may have been beat up by his brother. That they got in a fight, and his brother Larry Reid put a whooping on Harry Reid. So I guess you could say I'm guessing it's Lawrence and Harold. So Lawrence Reid, brother to Harold Reid, beat up said Harold Reid. But that's not the real interesting thing, because look, there's nothing different with these Democrats when they try to. Well, I guess many politicians are probably guilty of personal stuff like that because they're trying to protect their image. I kind of think I can understand it. I don't have to accept it, neither do you, but you can understand it. They don't want people thinking that they're weak. Well, but I guess this is also not the first time that Harry has faced down an opponent, a potential opponent with fisticuffs. That's right. Here's a hot air story. Harry Reid complains, John McCain threatened to kick the shit out of me. Yes, I just said the S word. Because that's what the title of the story is on Hot Air. Conspiracy theorists are busying themselves with the notion that Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid from Nevada, is being somewhat less than truthful about the nature of his injuries he sustained at home during the holiday recess. Now, shrewd political actor that he is, perhaps Reed was planting a seed when he revealed to CNBC journalist John Harwood recently that his colleague, Senator John McCain from Arizona, had at one point threatened to beat him up. Now, I don't know. I guess John McCain's pretty tough then, huh? Because here's a guy who can't, really raise his arms past his shoulders, above his shoulders, and he's an old guy too. And he looks, he doesn't look as spry and as limber as Harry, but Harry's just one of these wimpy, mamby-pamby little, liberal, girly men Democrats. No wonder he's probably scared. Look, his brother, allegedly, beat him up. But it wasn't long ago that he came to me on the Senate floor, Reed says. What you just did, I'm going to come to the floor and kick the S out of you. That's what Reed told Harwood. And I said to him, John, if I were in your position, I would do the same thing. Now, what kind of nonsense is that? Oh, it's a liberal BS stuff. Oh, I understand. It's you know what that reminds me of. I'm going to take people back to the 1980s. Remember Sinead O'Connor, Sinead, whatever the freaky Irish songstress's name is, however you pronounce it. I don't care. She was untalented then. She's still untalented now. You know the one that's nothing compares to you. Nothing compares to you. That's about how she sounded to me. Really, I thought she was talentless. She was a talentless hack in the 80s. But this woman, she was such a liberal nut job, believing in nothing, espousing all kinds of liberal leftist crap, but believing in nothing. It just, all this espousal just made her, probably made her feel good about herself. But this is what Sinead O'Connor admitted to doing this on more than one occasion. She was a pretty controversial figure back then. And, when she was on tour, sometimes there would be protests outside of her concert, protesting Sinead O'Connor. Now, I don't remember what these other, nut jobs were protesting, but I do remember in an interview she revealed something. She said, yeah, sometimes there will be, in her Irish brogue, there will be protesters outside of my concert venue. And she says, more, on a few occasions, and I do remember the reporter saying a few occasions, more than one, and she confirmed it by saying, yeah, on a few occasions, more than once, I would put on a disguise and I would go outside of the stadium and protest with them. And her reasoning was because she says, well, sometimes they may have something right about me. And it's good to show people and support people who have a differing opinion of myself. Now, I'm thinking this woman is actually going outside of her concert venue protesting herself. Well, if she believes in what the protesters are saying, why doesn't she change her opinion? Well, this is the same thing with Harry Reid. If Harry Reid is going to say, well, if I were in your shoes, John, I would do the same thing. Well, if Harry Reid is agreeing with John McCain that Harry Reid is being a total ass, why doesn't Harry Reid change then? Am I missing something? Is this? I know. I'm being logical, and I'm going to work myself up into a tizzy and probably start pulling my hair out if I continue to try to figure out liberals, true liberals, wacko liberals, nut job liberals. If I try to figure them out logically. But look, that is the way my brain works. It's the way I'm designed. I have to approach this logically. It is illogical for some, unless they just, the only logic is if they're trying to get a rise out of someone, and two, they don't believe in the crap that they're espousing. If they don't believe in the crap that they're espousing, then why are they doing it? Why are they espousing it? Why do they bring it forth in the form of public policy if they don't believe it. Now, evidently, I guess, what Harry Reid was telling John McCain, John, I really don't believe this crap that I keep saying, but, I got to say it anyway because I'm a Democrat. And it makes a whole hell of a lot of people feel good and feel better about themselves if they latch on to what I'm saying. Well, Harry, this continues a theme with Harry Reid and, many liberals on Capitol Hill. When Harry Reid was asked if he regretted lying about Mitt Romney back in the last presidential race with Obama, and Reid flatly said no. I mean, Obama won, didn't he? So I regret nothing. So it's all about them winning. It doesn't matter how they win with the left, as long as they win. They're not going to give you the truth about their ideas and their ideals. Oh, no, they're going to lie about them, and then they're going to try to make it look like and perceive, and so people perceive that the right are these evil, money grubbing, what have you, that should not be elected. Now, that stuff used to work all the time. It's not working so much anymore. It still works because it got Obama reelected. But it still works to some degree. But it's not a fait accompli that if they use such tactics that they're going to win. The American people, the voter, is getting wise to this kind of crap. And the American voter were kind of, they kind of knew that Reid was lying about Romney in the first place. But it was already out there. So, and because Mitt didn't have the foresight to just take care of the issue before it became an issue, there were people at the time that questioned him. Even some of his supporters. Well, Mitt, did you really? And what comes out later after the election is we find out that Harry lies, and he admitted it. But he says now, no, I don't have any regrets because why? Well, because Obama won re-election, and that's all that counts. It's not what's best for you and me and the rest of the country. It's about them gaining and retaining power. Power on Capitol Hill and power over your daily lives. That's what it's all about for them, on the left, the liberal. They do not care what you think. They do not care what your experience is. What they do care is that you have a microphone and that you are a point of contact for them in order to espouse and to distribute their liberal agenda and their liberal crap. So that's all that counts. Doesn't count if they tell you the truth, because Harry Reid knows this as well as Nancy Pelosi and all the other leftists. They know that if they tell you the unadulterated, absolute truth, few of you would vote for them. Only the diehards would vote, and they would not win elections. Which is why I'm here. I'm here to tell you the truth about what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're doing it, so you don't get caught in this trap of buying into their sound bites and believing the load of tripe that they dish on a daily basis. I mean, Harry Reid he's another evil little troll. He knows when he's lying. He knows that that he's lying, and he's willing to put that at risk by foisting all these kinds of lies in policy, in potential law. That's Harry Reid, folks. Now, you gotta, it is, Harry Reid is Harry Reid, I guess. Harry Reid is always going to lie to people. He's always going to lie to you and me. Nancy Pelosi is look, the left is they accuse the right of being liars. The left lies to us daily. And what's worse is that their only agenda in lying is not to get their agenda passed. No. That's not the big issue. The big issue with them is that their main agenda is and always has been the liberal agenda of defeating the conservative agenda by any means possible. They do not care if they lie. They do not lie. They do not care what happens if those lies hurt people. All they want to do is win. And basically, really all they want to do is beat conservatives. That's it. Don't doubt me.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary. Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad.
And we are back here on the Rod Eccles Show. Welcome back to the show. I am still your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great Granite State of New Hampshire. Just can't get enough of saying that. Granite State. Love this state. Love it. But I do love it, but you know what? I would prefer if people stayed out of it, actually stayed away. Look, I'm not going to lie about that. You know, you come see and visit. That's fine. Then you just go home. Don't move here, because a lot of you people from your liberal states are trying to bring moving here to New Hampshire and trying to bring your liberalism here. Speaking of liberalism, especially coming from places like California. Speaking of that, California, this is out of California. This is a Fox News story. California Democrats trying to raise cigarette taxes yet again. California Democrats are trying again this year to pass a tax increase on cigarette sales, one of several bills that attempt to curb tobacco use. This insatiable need to tell people how to live their lives is really got to stop. I don't care. Look, I don't particularly like cigarettes either. I don't like the way they smell. I think they stink. However, if somebody wants to smoke them, it is their prerogative. Well, they're not going to smoke them in my house, or they're not going to smoke them in my car or in my office or anything. But hey, if they want to smoke them in their own house, in their own car, if they want, who does the government, either at the state or federal level, think that they are to tell people that they can't? And I know you're probably saying, well, Rod, isn't that true of pot and heroin and all other stuff? Well, to a degree, yes. Now, obviously, hard drugs, narcotics like heroin and meth, they do damage to society because of what people do to get those drugs. So those do need to be controlled. So I don't know people who are, robbing households and murdering people and that kind of stuff to buy in order to get the money to buy cigarettes. Although they might be getting there pretty soon if they keep raising the price of them via taxes. The bill, if passed, would increase a tax on a pack of cigarettes from 87 cents to $2.87 a pack. Did you just hear what I just said? They're going to raise the tax by $2 in one. Well, hey, Rod, if you read the rest of the story says that there hasn't been a raise in the cigarette tax in California in about 17 years. So there shouldn't be a tax on it like that in the first place. Because look, you're double taxing people. Because, the product itself has a regular sales tax, I do believe, and there are already other taxes built into the price, just like every other product or service, anyway. But now you're going to throw in another tax just because you don't like that people smoke, and you want them to quit. So you're just going to make it. Well, who's that going to hurt? Is our higher taxes on cigarettes or tobacco going to hurt the wealthy person? Because you're always talking about, raising taxes on the wealthy and not the poor. Well, who's going to get hurt the most by it? Because a lot of people, if the people are still smoking, it's because they want to. It is really because they want to. They, for whatever reason, they enjoy it. And the poorer, we know that the lower you are in the economic ladder, the lower rungs tend to smoke more often than those that are on the higher rungs of the economic ladder. But state Democrats have also proposed bills to limit the public use of chewing tobacco and electronic cigarettes and to increase the legal smoking age from 18 to 21. So now you can't drink until you're 21, and now they want to say that you can't legally smoke until you're 21. Well, you know what? Maybe we just shouldn't let people vote until they're 21. Well, look, I'm being serious as a heart attack here. I believe the legal drinking age should be 18. If you can serve your country and die in the military, if you can operate multi-million-dollar aircraft and other machinery like M1 tanks at the age of 18, then you are old enough to be able to take and be able to drink an alcoholic beverage, an adult beverage. You're an adult. If you're old enough to vote, you're old enough to drink and or smoke. Plain and simple. If you do not believe, if your argument is, and it is a hypocritical argument, if your argument is that people between the ages of 18 and 20 are not mature enough to be able to handle something as important as drinking or smoking cigarettes, then they're not old enough to vote. They're not old enough to be cops. They're not old enough to be firefighters or first responders of any kind. Plain and simple. Now, which is it? Either you're an adult at 18 or you're an adult at 21. You can't have it both ways. One, it's confusing, and two, it's just wrong, flat out wrong. Now, I'm sure liberals would very much like the idea of not allowing 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds to enlist in our nation's military. But again, people in the military of that age are entrusted with the very safety and security of this country. But yet you want to tell me that they're not old enough to make the decision of whether or not they can, partake of tobacco products or imbibe in an adult beverage of alcoholic content. It's highly hypocritical. And this notion that you liberals think that you have what gives you the right? Tell me, specifically, what rights do you have to tell me whether or not I should smoke? Sure, tell me, if you want to show me all kinds of medical evidence that it's bad for me, it's bad for my health, fine, great. Give me the information. Yep, I see it, read it, hear it, great. My decision, not yours. I shouldn't have to pay extra for the privilege, for the pursuit of happiness, which is guaranteed to me to be free from encumbrance by my government in the Constitution. Look, hey, if girls can go out there and have an abortion at the age of 14 without telling their parents, but you can't give them an aspirin because they're still in school and they're a minor, how is it that an aspirin is more serious than a major operation such as an abortion? There's hypocrisy run amok with liberals when liberals are in charge. Hey, you can't, they're out there, supporting Tsarnaev, the Boston Marathon bomber. They're saying, no death penalty here, no death penalty, use life in prison. That's what it's inhumane to kill him. But then you turn around and say that a woman has the right to choose to kill her unborn child. I mean, we have these hypocrisies all over the place. Most of them come out of the mouths of Democrats, liberals. Of that, there really is no disputing the fact that these people do It's double speak. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth. I don't. Look, hey, if you want to, it's no wonder people are starting to flee now California. I mean, first of all, it's, they reelected Jerry Brown. That was another big mistake that California always does. Is they rerun old tread politicians. Especially ones that caused the state to nearly go broke before. Hey, just let's hire them again and let them finish the job, right? Isn't that the way things work now? So I guess, and once Obama's, once his term is done as president, what are they going to elect him again to the Illinois State Senate so he can finish screwing up the state of Illinois? I mean, he's done a good job on a national level. So will his power and clout allow him to be able to do the same thing or worse on the state level? Oh, well, will Michelle Obama run for office? There doesn't seem to be any talk about it, although there is noticeably there is no talk on the left. I have not seen it nor heard it about any talk of Obama's retirement, as it were. What's he going to do after he's no longer president? And what's Michelle going to do? I mean, Michelle is like Hillary. She's a strong, smart lady. What? Is she going to run for? Is she going to follow in the footsteps of Hillary and run for, like, Illinois State? I don't know. Are they going to move to Hawaii? They seem to like Martha's Vineyard a lot. Oh, God. Would they move to Massachusetts? Oh, boy. That's a scary thought. But, is she going to move to... Are they going to move to Massachusetts so she can run for Senate, the Senate here in Massachusetts? I mean, there's 2 senator seats, but there's already a woman that has one of the seats. Elizabeth Warren. Please, somebody in Massachusetts has got to knock her off the next election down there. Really, I'm tired of listening to her. She's an inane boob that doesn't really know how to tell the truth. She's just an inane boob. But we haven't heard much about what the Obamas are going to do after 2016. So the question is, are they going to follow in the Clintons' footsteps? Are they going to shop around for a Senate seat? Yeah. Hey, will Michelle Obama and Barack move to California so Michelle can run for, let's say, the House in Cal? There's a bunch of Democrats out there that are retiring or will be retiring in the next 2 to 4 years. Probably. Well, if we can't get rid of them by voting them out, hopefully they'll retire. Like Barbara Boxer and Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi et al. So, are the Obamas going to shop around, shop for a seat, a congressional seat or a Senate seat like the Clintons did? And then once Hillary's too old and too gray and probably too dead, literally 6 feet under, because a woman's like going to be 70 soon. So in I don't know, 6 or 8 years, is Michelle going to come out and say, yeah, I'm going to run for president? And is everybody just going, yeah, Michelle, she's great. She's going to be great. She's going to be a great president because, she's a woman, she's a black woman, and she's got sass, and she's got sassafras. That's what it is. It's sassafras. Michelle Obama, she don't take no crap from nobody. She just like her husband. You gotta love that. We love you, Michelle. Oh, we love you, honey. Yeah, you go, girl. But please. I just want them to go away. Go far, far away. Go back to Indonesia. And do us a favor. Do your children a favor. Don't take them with you, by the way. Look, those girls are adorable. And I think it's unfair that people attack on either side of the political aisle. You leave the president's kids alone. They didn't ask for it. Leave them alone. And I just happen to... Look, they're a lot cuter than, the last couple of Democratic presidential children. Granted, Chelsea's gotten a hell of a lot better looking than when she was a teenager living in the White House. She's pretty much a homely little girl. And I'm sorry, I don't know what she looks like now, but, Amy Carter was also not a looker. But it's not their fault. I'm just saying. But, thankfully their parents didn't take them overseas to like Indonesia or something. So I'm just hoping that the same sort of thing doesn't happen to the Obama girls. And yes, I was asked again today about that. No, I do not believe that Michelle Obama is really Michael Obama. I don't. Why do people continue to ask me that kind of crap? Look, it doesn't even matter anyway. I don't care if she is a he. It doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever. Means absolutely nothing. Other than the fact that, if she is letting her gender or lack thereof, influence the policy that she wants to foist upon us through her husband and through the office of the first, well, it's not even an office of the First Lady, but through the position of First Lady of the United States. That's right. There is no office of the First Lady, by the way. It's an honorary position, but which Michelle has taken to a whole new level of being an authoritarian when it comes to that. But yeah, it is. It's true. However, the bill in California, the tobacco interest group such as the Cigar Association of America told Fox News on Wednesday that they will be looking into different tactics to fight the tax, but no decisions have been made yet. So I hope they do fight it and fight it very hard because, I happen to like cigars, and this tax, really. Can you imagine that such a tax increase on cigars? No, the cigars are not like cigarettes, where cigarettes are bought by the pack. Cigars are not generally bought by the pack because a pack can be rather pricey. So it would be, well, not necessarily. Good cigars don't come in a pack; they come in a box. Buy them by the box, and it depends on the brand and the size, how many come in. But it's usually 12 sticks in a box. Some boxes will have 16 or 24 depending on their size, but usually the average is about 12 sticks in a box. And I don't know how they're going to apply. Is it going to be $2 a stick? That's going to be damaging to the cigar industry. And yes, I know that but what are they going to do with the money? Now, the bill to increase the smoking age passed unanimously already in the Senate Health Committee with bipartisan support. What are Republicans doing voting for such nonsense? Oh, I know. Again, it's California. It is California. I get it. Well, this next story is not out of California, but look, I told you something like this was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. And I was talking about this a long time ago. Back when I first started, around 2009, 2010, I talked about this type of thing happening. And it was going to happen sooner rather than later. Well, the sooner was not as soon as I thought it was going to happen, but it is happening now. Milwaukee's Badger Guns is being sued for supplying gun used to shoot cops. A former state Supreme Court justice. Now, I don't know of any other case like it. That's right. A trial over whether a gun shop bears responsibility for selling a weapon that was ultimately used to seriously injure 2 cops is underway in Wisconsin. So, the gun shop owner is supposed to be a soothsayer or a seer or, a fortune teller with every customer that comes to the door. The customer is legal. They're able to legally own a firearm, so they legally buy the firearm, and then, sometime later, they use it for an illegal deed, but it's the gun shop's fault, and they're responsible for it? No, I don't think so, but I told you this was coming, folks. I told you. Now, Milwaukee police officer Brian Norberg and former officer Graham Kunish accused Badger Guns, a firearms store in West Milwaukee, of negligence for selling a Taurus handgun on May 4th back in 2009 to straw buyer Jacob Collins, who in turn gave it to Julius Burton, an 18-year-old with a criminal history. So we're supposed to know what they're going to do with the gun and who they're going to give it to after they buy it from. Let's say you're the gun store owner. So you're supposed to know ahead of time. I don't know. What are you going to do? Ask your customer, hey, Mr. Customer, Mr. Gun Customer, what you going to do with this gun? Use it for protection, or use it for target practice because I like the shooting sports. Okay, you're going to give this gun or sell this gun to somebody else that may not have a legal right to own or bear a firearm? Well, of course I won't. I'll be using the gun myself instead. And then a couple years down the line, they go ahead and they, the gun ends up in the criminal's hands. How is the store responsible for that? Well, it's because it's typical of the left that they feel that they have to blame somebody. They got to blame somebody else for the problems. They cannot take responsibility for themselves. Look, guns don't kill people. People kill people, and people use different types of instruments and tools in order to achieve a successful outcome that they want. And if it's to kill somebody else, they will use a variety of weapons in order to snuff the life out of the person whom they wish to be snuffed. It could be a gun. Are we now going to start holding knife manufacturers in places that sell knives? Like Target and Walmart and Bed Bath and Beyond. Hey, you guys, you sold that butcher knife that was used in a crime, and maybe it's a crime against cops. I don't know. But you Walmart and Target and whoever, y'all the one that sold that weapon. You sold the weapon to a law-abiding citizen at the time. It doesn't matter, but you should have known they was going to commit a heinous crime. Heinous. Just a seriously heinous crime. So why is it guns are singled out? Why not? Knives can kill people just as easily. Really, they can. Cops can be injured, maimed, and killed by knives, and they have been. Cops don't die just by shooting. There is a plethora of methods of death by perpetrator to cops, and police officers know this. They know it. That's why they're usually a little bit more careful around people that they're not familiar with. But yeah, so the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence has filed lawsuits against Badger Guns on behalf of the officers. I don't... Yeah, folks, it is what it is, but I'm telling you, this is not a good precedence that's being set here. Now, sure, first of all, the case should be tossed out, but it is in Wisconsin, and I know Scott Walker is the governor over there, but there were years and years of liberal governors appointing liberal judges, so this case probably will not be thrown out and will be heard. And the biggest fear is that this company, this small little gun shop, will be found culpable and responsible for the shoot, and they'll be bankrupt. But don't doubt me. That's the whole point. Let's bankrupt anybody if we can't get a law, so says the liberal. If we can't get a law passed to curtail the activity that you are engaging in that we don't like, then we're going to get a judge to do it for us, and we'll just bankrupt you. Didn't Obama say that about the coal industry? Yeah. You can have a coal plant, but we'll bankrupt you with my policies against coal power because it's dirty. We don't like it, don't want it, and I'm just going to bankrupt you. Plain and simple. So don't build a coal plant that produces energy because I'm going to bankrupt you. So don't own a gun shop because if somebody happens to use it in a crime, even though you didn't know that they were going to use it, you should have known. And so we're going to bankrupt you. And that's how we get rid of you. This is how they're going to do it, folks. They are going to try to bankrupt anybody and everybody from now on if you are doing something that they don't like. Don't doubt me.
Rob Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Rob Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Rob Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall.
This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the Seven Kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the Seven Kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm.
Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven ultra-lipo-stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name's Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here. But then one of my buddies showed me this website. And now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, I've always wondered, because Obama says, about the coal industry, well, hey, I'm going to bankrupt you. I'm wondering if Democrats and liberals especially just really want to bankrupt each and every single individual American in this country so that all 330 or 320 million of us are dependent on the government for our very existence. Now, look, if you look all around and you see all the policies that they're trying to implement or they have implemented, you really got to scratch your head. You got to say, and you got to ask, am I right about that? I mean, think about it. Are the liberals in this country really trying to bankrupt each and every single individual American so that we are all dependent on them? Interesting question, don't you think? And I think it's an answer that we as Americans deserve an answer to. Good. Hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, L. Rod, and I'm coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust, although liberals would like to have it be big government. And that big government will eventually bust us all. Indeed, it is Hump Day, Wednesday, April the 15th in the year of our Lord, 2015, which means it's tax day. Today is the day you got to have your taxes out. You got to, everything's got to be, postmarked, stamped, whatever by tonight, midnight or 11:59 midnight tonight. Make sure you get it out there. I know I do, especially now that I'm on the air railing against liberalism. I'm sure, hey, we already know what the IRS does to, PACs that are of the, shall we say, less than liberal persuasion. They deny them tax exempt and tax free status and all that kind of stuff, so they can't really do much. And folks, that's just evilness. That is just plain. They will do anything that they can get, and not with anything within their power. They will do anything that they can get away with to make sure and see that we are a nation, we are a one-party nation. Look, this is what communists and socialists do, quite frankly. Look, there's, the people in the USSR, they got to vote, but they only got to vote for one candidate from one party. People in China, they got to vote sometimes, but again, there's only one choice on the ballot. There was no space to write in another one. If you did, you were going to be in trouble. Look at North Korea. North Korea, we hear that they have elections up there again, but, the only person who's on the ballot is Kim Jong-il. So is that really voting? And this is true of many dictatorships and communist types of countries. They claim to have, we have free elections. The people are free to elect me, and only me. That's what a dictator is saying. The people are free to go to the polls and vote for me. Because I am the only one on the ballot, because I am the only one that can run this country, so they vote for me, because I am the best that they have to offer. And that's unfortunate. So, but this is what the liberals in this country, in the United States of America, that's what they want too. They want to destroy and dismember and dismantle the Republican General Opposition Party, all opposition, not just the GOP. All you Tea Party members and all you Constitutional Party members and all you libertarians and all you, Freedom Party people and whatever other third wing, third fringe, whatever type of party out there, they want you dead and gone. They really do. They're liberals, so they really don't want you dead. They just don't want you living. Hey. Some of you out there are under the sound of my voice who believe in conspiracy theories. Maybe all those FEMA camps are being built by liberals for all us Constitution-loving people. And I know I am fueling the fire on that one, because some of you believe that's exactly what's up. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. They're going to put us all in FEMA camps. All us Constitutional-loving, gun-toting people. I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm teasing you people. I know it, because now you're going to think that I'm like you. Well, I'm not a conspiracy nut job. Sorry. Don't believe in most conspiracies, because if it's true, then it's not a conspiracy, really. It's just politics as usual. Well, it is. It's not a conspiracy. Look, it's not a conspiracy that the left wants to get rid of the right. That's not a conspiracy. That's just what they do on a daily basis, or what they attempt to do on a daily basis. That's just the truth. No conspiracy behind it. Conspiracy is something that's all hidden. It's hidden and nobody knows it's going on, but it's really going on, and only a certain few can actually see through the veil and see what's really happening. No. The liberal Democrats, there's nothing that they're doing in a veil. I mean, they're pretty much out in the open. Even when most of the American people are against them, kind of like Obamacare, they still do it anyway, out in the open. Oh, yeah. I mean, sure, they'll try to pass certain bills into law in the dead of night, but ahead of time that they're going to do it, because they're out in the open. They're not trying to, they really aren't trying to hide. The only thing they're trying to hide is hide stuff that is going to make them look bad, so that even some liberals or some Democrats won't vote for them, which is, this open policy, or the most transparent administration in the history of the country. Well, we know that's a bogus lie. We know that's a big, fat lie. Because we know what they're doing. They're not really hiding what they're doing. We know what they're doing. They just don't want to give us the proof of what they're doing. But we know they're not hiding it. They're very bad at hiding it. If they're actually trying to hide it, they're just very, very, very bad. And if they are really trying to hide it, and they're this bad at hiding it, then it just shows their total and complete incompetence. And even those of you on the left, unless you are, of that 10 or 15% of the most diehard radical leftists, there's no way in hell that you should be supporting them because they're that incompetent. If they are really trying to hide, so this looks like a real conspiracy, then they haven't done a good job of it for the past 20 years at least. And they're just that incompetent. So, I mean, there's another reason not to vote for these jackasses, quite frankly. Because, if you think that there's all of this stuff that's simply, conspiracy stuff, and they're doing a very bad job of it, well, you probably do not want them as your elected official. I'm just saying. You don't. I'm just saying. Fast food workers out there. Fast food workers. Yeah, I didn't see that here today anywhere. I mean, I didn't see any pickets or anything, picket lines or people walking out of fast food restaurants, going on a general strike. But fast food workers, today was a day that they chose to, walk out of their job and demand $15 an hour. Now, it all sounds well and good, and it falls in the heels. Yesterday I brought you the story of that startup company where the founder and CEO decided that he was going to forego his $1 million salary with this credit card processing company, and the minimum wage in his company was going to be $70,000. Now, I got to tell you, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because now all those people who are making less than 70, they have no incentive now. None. And I know some of you are probably saying, well, if they don't do a good job, then they'll probably get flooded with all kinds of resumes and people wanting to come work for them. No, that's not really going to happen. Because these people aren't going to, I mean, they're just going to do enough just to get by so they don't get fired. That's it. There's no motivation there. You're not going to be able to see who's willing to do more in order to get ahead and to get a raise. I mean, they're already earning $70,000 and they shouldn't be earning $70,000. But let's just take this fast food worker protests apart, shall we? Now, I want you to think, because most people, especially liberals, but most people, they don't really pay attention to the details of this. We just hear $15 an hour. Yeah. That seems fair. A lot of people will say that seems fair. $15. All right. Now, first of all, without even annualizing it, now let's just follow me on this for a minute or two. A lot of these places will hire who? Teenagers. And a lot of the teenagers that they're hiring are not necessarily in college, but they're in high school. So understand that. These are unskilled, inexperienced laborers. They're not running anything. They're laborers. That's what, you're flipping hamburgers in the back, and you're checking on the fries to make sure they don't burn, and you're reaching out, the drive-through window with a smile on your face and saying, have a nice day. That's all you're doing. There is no skill behind it. And you're a freaking teenager. I mean, you're living at home with mom and dad, or maybe you're at college, but, your mom and dad are still probably paying for you. And you're probably thinking, well, that should have nothing to do with it. But it has everything to do with it. Because we're talking entry-level jobs here. And you're saying, but Rod, it's only $15 an hour. Well, understand this. $15 an hour on a full-time basis, on an annual basis, is $30,000 a year. Are you really prepared to tell a business that they have to pay a minimum of $30,000 per year per employee for flipping burgers? Entry-level job. Really? Now, let's just say we did raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Do you think that's going to get rid of poverty in this country? No. Do you think that's going to get rid of welfare? No. It's only going to increase it. Why? Because employers aren't going to be able to hire as many people. And of course, when you're going to compound this nonsense with Obamacare. Because that means, well, hey, not as many people are going to be working. So yeah, you're going to get some people who are not currently working full time, who will be able to work full time because there's going to be fewer employees. And you might think, well, that's a good thing. So more people will be able to get health care. Well, wrong. Because now you're going to have more unemployed people. And who gets to pick up the tab for them? The taxpayer. And who's now going to be a taxpayer? Oh, the burger flipper who's now earning $30,000 a year. Now they're going to be a positive taxpayer. Do you think that they're going to get sick and tired of paying for people who are on the public dole? Abso-freaking-lutely, because everybody who actually goes to work and earns a real wage and a real living and pays real taxes looks at their tax bill and says, you know, that $30,000 turned into $23,000 really damn quick because of all the freaking income taxes. So they're going to look at you and say, you know what? I was better off not making $15 an hour because I didn't pay as much in taxes. I didn't have to work as hard because I wasn't doing the job of two people. Yeah, that's what always happens. Historical data proves such a thing. We don't see a massive, I've even heard some people say, yeah, well, if you pay $15 an hour, man, you're going to increase the labor force. Oh, so an employer, what you're really telling me then is this. An employer who's paying his employees, let's say round it up, $10 an hour. And let's say he's got 5 employees, $10 an hour. Are you telling me that he not only is he going to have 5 employees making $15 an hour, but he's going to be able to hire a 6th employee at $15 an hour when he could only afford 5 at $10 an hour? How do you come up with this math? I mean, even new math isn't that bad. Liberal math has got to be some of the worst math on the planet. I mean, it is the most ridiculous, nonsensical stuff I have ever come across. It's kind of like Nancy Pelosi saying, yeah, unemployment benefits increases employment. I don't know how, because first of all, people on unemployment, they're only getting enough to survive. They're only getting enough, if they're getting enough, to keep a roof over their head and food on the table. That's it. They're not, they're not going on vacation in unemployment. Now, I would never do this because I have too much personal pride and self-respect, but I don't know if I could get unemployment and afford to pay all my bills and go on vacation to, say, Aruba every year. Well, who the hell is going to want a job then? I'm not going to want a job, really. I'm not going to be in a hurry to find one. Hey, I got 99 weeks of having, that's 2 years. I got 2 years of unemployment benefits, 2 years of not having to work, having all my bills paid, and at least once a year for the next 2 years, I can go to Aruba on unemployment. Now, who's going to be in a hurry to find a job? If that is true, if what Nancy Pelosi says is true. But see, look, they lie, we catch them in a lie, and yet we don't do much about it. Everybody with, half of, even the mentally disabled child fully understands that unemployment benefits does not increase employment levels in this country. It just doesn't happen. But yet she's out there, talking that Valley Girl crap. And then they go run around and saying, yeah, for flipping burgers, I should be making $15 an hour. So what they're saying is I should be making $30,000 a year for flipping burgers. Really? Well, let me tell you something. You won't get ahead at $30,000 because really quick, that $30,000 will be the equivalent of $15,000 today in just a couple short years. Because inflation will kick in, not to mention all those people who are at 30,000 or at around 30,000, they're going to say, wait a minute. Minimum wage is now $15 an hour. I'm not a minimum wage employee. I have, college education and I'm working in the field that I graduated in from college, or I have 10 or 15 years experience, and you're only paying me $40 right now, but now the minimum wage is going to be $15 an hour or $30,000 a year. I need a raise. And people are going to rightfully demand raises, and they will rightfully begin getting them. And when people start earning more, what happens to prices? Well, somebody's got to pay for all of that. So consumer prices are going to go up. So instead of milk being, $2.50 for a half gallon, it's going to double and go to $5 for a half gallon. So have you actually moved ahead? It's called inflation. And all you got to do is just look back. We see this all the time. People graduate from high school and in their yearbook, in their senior year, they have a yearbook and it shows the prices of the basic things that teenagers bought that year. Like going to Burger King or McDonald's and buying a record or a CD or what have you. And it has the price of it. So in 20 years from now, when they go back to their 20-year high school reunion, they flip open that book and they say, wow, man, we only paid $2.20 for a gallon of gas. And I wish we could get back to, it's kind of like, many of us are saying, yeah, I remember a time that, gas was like $1.19 a gallon. Wish we can get back to $1.19. No, we're not going to get back there. Why? Because of inflation. So in 20 years, when gas is $6 a gallon, we're going to say, wow, $2.20 or whatever it is today, the average price. Well, that was cheap. Because of inflation. Plain and simple. All you got to do is just look at your own freaking yearbook and tell that there's inflation. And even liberal idiots have a yearbook. Liberal nut jobs have a yearbook. I mean, so the inflation part of this $15 an hour is not going to be, it'll be realized in a very short term, but over the long term, we'll go another 10 years without a raise in the minimum wage. And these people will end up, where $15 an hour is going to be the equivalent of making only, $8 or $9 an hour. And it probably won't take 5 to 10 years for that to happen either. I mean, look, you got places, some places where, they're instituting minimum wages that are considerably higher than the national minimum wage, $10, $11, $12 an hour. And these are in communities where people just can't afford to live on $12 an hour. But they get these raises and prices go up. So there's local inflation. And they wonder why they're not getting ahead. Because you're not supposed to get ahead on an entry-level job. That's what it is. It's entry-level. You're supposed to get experience and knowledge and then use that experience and knowledge to either get yourself promoted within that company or find yourself a new position that pays more. That's all an entry-level job is for. If you're at, if you're at some mall store, in a little clothing store, selling a name brand, they're paying you $9 an hour. Well, that's all you're really worth. But you're supposed to get experience in the retail industry so that you'll want to be, move up to, like, say, an assistant manager job that pays a little bit more. And then maybe to be a manager and get your own store that pays a little bit more. And then maybe a district manager where you have more than one store under you. And that pays a little bit more. And then you'll become a regional manager where you have, a bunch of district managers under you. So you have a whole lot of stores that you're responsible for, and you get paid a little bit more, and you keep moving up the ladder. That's what an entry job position is going to do for you, or is going to give you the opportunity for. It's not for you to make a living off of it. An employer is paying for your inexperience. to try to get you to get experience. So hopefully you'll stay with them and grow with them so they have an employee that they can utilize in higher levels within the company. Yeah, they like to hire. Most companies like to hire within. Just most of the time when they have to hire from without is because either nobody is qualified or nobody wants the job that they're offering from within. And that's the truth, folks. Nothing, it's not anything different. This is the way it's always been. You never got paid a lot for an entry-level job. I don't know who in their right mind would tell you that, you're supposed to get all this kind of money for an entry-level job. You're supposed to make $30,000 a year for flipping burgers. No, you're not, because you know what's going to happen? The Big Mac and all that kind of stuff and the Burger King Whopper, all those prices are going to rise, and people are not going to want to pay those kind of prices for fast food. And then some people just might lose their jobs anyway. Hey, don't doubt me.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipostick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipostick.
My name's Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipostick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipostick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipostick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipostick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipostick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
And welcome back. I am still your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio. You are listening to the Rod Eccles Show here on this Wednesday evening. New York Times. Congress. This is about Hillary Clinton and all the email stuff. Now she's out on the road now, and she's up in Iowa at the moment. I do believe she's still in Iowa. You know, hitting the campaign trail. You know, I have no idea why people want to go through this type of scrutiny and pain, really, emotional and sometimes physical pain, running for the office of the presidency of the United States of America. No, I fully understand wanting to gain, wanting to capture, wanting to keep power. I understand people like that. I get it. But to go through whatever they have to go through, and obviously this is a position that a very, very, very few will ever have. I mean, we're a nation of, almost 238 years old, and we've had 44 commanders-in-chief. 44. Now, just think about the odds of that for a second. 44. Now, if you were to say 44 out of just 230 million people, well, that's a minute number. But you've got to remember, there has been probably close to 1 billion people who've lived in the United States since its inception. Close to it, at least, three quarters of a billion, 750 million people have had to have lived, and only 44 of all the people who've ever lived in this country since its inception have been president. I think of the odds. But here this woman is. Now, the election isn't until November of 2016. We're over a year and a half out. Because we have to go through the rest of 2015 and then almost all of 2016 before we get to make our choice at the ballot box. That's a long time to be out there huffing and puffing it. And no, it doesn't show the gumption and the bravery of these candidates. It shows that that some of them are kind of nutso. Really, look. One of the reasons I know I just didn't say that hey, I'm going to, in 2020, I'm running for president of the United States. And you're going to see as the show progresses and time goes on, I'm going to start producing, fake ads for me running for president in 2020. But the real thing is that I have no interest in getting on the road like that and trying to, pressing the flesh with, handshakes and kissing babies and all that kind of stuff for months and months and months on end, trying to convince people who really could care less if they're convinced or not to vote for me. Now, this is not a condemnation of the American people. It is just the way we have been conditioned. So again, it's really, our political leaders' faults that we are the way that we are now. And that they feel that they have to start jumping into this in this type of a race so soon in order to capture our imagination and to capture our vote early on. It's the fact that we have to constantly be bombarded with their message for a long period of time for most of us to even start paying attention. And then they have to keep doing it after we do pay attention so they can convince us that they're the right ones. That's somebody who wants power really bad, who's willing to do that. Now, as I say that, I want you to think about, you have to have the right motivation. And not everybody who runs for president or any other elected office has the right motivation. You have to really pay attention to the motivation of these people who are running. Now, definitely, there have been some presidents whose true motivation was to improve the condition of the people of the United States. No doubt, there have been presidents like that. And then there have been presidents who just wanted power. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that Jimmy Carter wanted to improve the condition of the people of the United States. I have no doubt. Look, he was just an incompetent boob. He didn't know what he was doing. He had the wrong kind of policies. But I have no doubt that Jimmy Carter loved his country and he wanted what he thought was the best for the people of this country. I believe that. He was just a terrible president. Ronald Reagan loved this country. He wanted the best for the people of this nation. No doubt about it. But he was a good president. He had good policies, and his policies worked. Jimmy Carter's policies did not work. That's the difference. And I even believe that to a certain extent, William Jefferson Clinton loved this country. Yeah, he had fun being the president in more ways than, presidents really should. Yeah, he did. But I believe the man wanted to improve the condition of everyday people in this country. He did. This is, hey, this is why Bill, during midterm elections, when he lost the Congress, or parts of the Congress, the House or the Senate, that he began to compromise more. Because he really was out. And in his policies, people weren't accepting his policies. So he was out to try to get as much of his policy as possible because he thought his policies would really work. Now, that's not the same for his wife, Hillary. And that is not true of Barack Hussein Obama. I do not believe Barack Obama loves this country. I do not believe that he is all in it. He's in it to help and improve the everyday lives of the American people. He's in it for himself. He's in it for the power. Now, I want you to pay attention because that's the same thing about Hillary Clinton. She's in it for the power. She wants to rule. Just listen to what they want to say. Listen to what they say they want to do. Now, anybody who says that even though their policies may not agree with it, but anybody who says, they want to give people more freedom, they don't want government bugging them all the time. Those are people that really want to help the American people, to improve their lives. Now, their policy may do the opposite, but they're saying that this policy X, I know it's going to create a new department, like Department of Education is fairly new, but it's going to it's going to increase the education levels of our children, our students, so they're going to have a better life than we did. because they'll be better educated. See, that was noble. Barack Obama comes on the scene and says, no, I want to take over your health care, and you're going to have it and do it exactly as I say. He's not improving health care, and he knows he's not. You see the difference? Creating the Department of Education, he really thought that he was going to improve education in this country. It was the wrong way to do it, but that's what he thought. Improving the health care of everybody? No, because look, hey, you get to keep your doctor if you like it. You get to keep your plan if you like it, the type of plan that you like. You get to keep all that stuff. And we find out after the bill is passed that none of it is true. And they knew it. So they weren't about improving your life. They were about controlling your life. Hillary Clinton is no different. So she has to go out there early. Now, contrast the difference between what Hillary Clinton says and what, for example, Marco Rubio said. Contrast the difference between, Elizabeth Warren, who people are talking about maybe being the replacement for Hillary, with that of Rand Paul or Ted Cruz. It's not just policy difference. Those three Republicans, they truly do want to improve the lot in life of the American people. Those two Democratic women do not give a flip about what you want and what your dreams are. They just believe that they need to rule over you and force you to do what they think is best for you. Period. Big difference. Now, I want you to remember that, and I'm going to keep reminding you of it until November 2016 rolls around. I mean, just look at all the lies that Hillary Clinton has told up until this point. Look at the lies that Elizabeth Warren told. I mean, look at the hypocrisy. She's out there talking about, people, the rich people. I just find it funny. And not in a humorous way, that you have all these liberals running around talking about rich people this, rich people that, rich people need to do this, and they're out there, they're rich themselves financially, and they're doing everything they possibly can to reduce their tax burden, yet they want the rest of us to pay more. But, evil rich people. Well, hey, you're rich. And Elizabeth, you lied to get your position. Plain and simple. We know you did, because you told us what you said, and it was a lie. So keep that in mind as we go to this hot air story about Hillary Clinton. Some people are thinking that, well, this is just a new. This story is new. It's just another attempt at the Republicans to try to discredit. No, it's not another attempt. About her emails, about the State Department, and about her server. Look, Congress has been asking since December of 2012 about Hillary's and other State Department employees' private emails that they were email accounts that they were using to do official government business on and through. They have been asking since December of 2012 to get these emails. And they have obfuscated and delayed since December of 2012. Now, what is the date today? It is mid-April 2015. So you're looking at, let's do the math. 12 and 15 is what? 3. So 2.5 years. They have been asking for this woman's cooperation in emails. For 2.5 years. She has been hiding, lying, and hiding. And this is the type of person that some on the left think that we need to elect as president of the greatest nation on this planet has ever seen. The query. Now, Congress has asked Hillary in December 2012 about her private emails. The query was posed to Mrs. Clinton on December 13th, 2012, in a letter from Representative Darrell Issa, depending on which part of the country you come from, the Republican chairman of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. Now, Mr. Issa was leading an investigation into how the Obama administration handled its official use of personal email. Have you or any senior agency official ever used a personal email account to conduct official business? Mr. Issa wrote to Mrs. Clinton. If so, he says, please identify the account or accounts used. Mr. Issa also asked Mrs. Clinton, does the agency require employees to certify on a periodic basis or at the end of their employment with the agency that they have turned over any communications involving official business that they have sent or received using non-official accounts? Mr. Issa's letter also sought written documentation of the department's policies for the use of personal email for government business. Mrs. Clinton left the State Department on February 1st, 2013. 7 weeks after the letter was sent to her. So she had plenty of time to answer the letter. And yet she chose not to do it. So you got to wonder what this woman was trying to hide. What is she still trying to hide? Look, you only hide stuff when you realize, hey, there's some stuff in there that can be incriminating to me. So in those emails are possible stuff that might incriminate her on real crimes and misdemeanors while serving as Secretary of State. I mean, this is not something that people should just look at lightly. Oh, you just want emails. This is not something that needs to be taken lightly. And this is not something that even the lamestream media should let go. Look, if they want a female president, they've got another one in the wings. All they got to do is just say, hey, Elizabeth, why don't you come on over and join the race? We'll take care of Hillary. And they need to be out there asking her these questions. Mrs. Clinton, why haven't you turned over the emails? Mrs. Clinton, what is it that you think that you're hiding in the emails? Mrs. Clinton, do you think that you could be in legal trouble if you turned over these email accounts? Mrs. Clinton, why have you not turned over the emails at congressional request? Mrs. Clinton, what are all of the accounts that were private accounts that were used to conduct official business, which is against federal law? Mrs. Clinton, why did you break federal law with these private email accounts? Mrs. Clinton, why won't you answer any of our questions? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this is why people will not want to be interviewed on my show. This is why I do not do a lot of interviews. Because when I ask a question, I fully expect an answer. I expect a full, complete, and honest answer, not some stupid, because I was, example, Megyn Kelly with Deborah Wasserman Schultz on the abortion issue. Well, Megyn Kelly wasn't taking any of her non-answer crap. She asked, hey, but I'm not going to be nice like even Megyn Kelly is and try to ask the same question in a different way. I'm going to ask it in the exact same way. And then after about the third time, I'm going to say, look, this is the third time I'm asking you this question. Why won't you answer it? Look, I mean, there's just no way in hell that you're not going to answer. Look, you're not going to answer me. There's no way. You are going to answer, or I'm going to make your life on my show miserable. And I will show the world, to all my listeners, that you're refusing to answer a simple question. Because if you tell the truth, the answer's, the question is simple if you're out there trying to tell the truth. The only time it becomes complicated, overly complicated, is when you're trying to lie and hide. The only time you're trying to redirect the answer is when you're trying to lie and hide. Plain and simple. So, Mrs. Clinton, where are the emails now? Why did you destroy your server? Why was your server erased? Why was your server, why was it tampered with? Why was it messed with? Why was it taken someplace that nobody could get to it? Why did you not turn it over when you had the ability to turn it over? I mean, it was your private server, your private email server, and you were the Secretary of State, so it's not like you couldn't get to it. I'd be asking these questions, but then again, we're talking the lamestream media whose only agenda is to defeat the Republicans. And if they have to lie, cheat, steal, or kill in order to do it, then so be it. So you have to ask yourself, do you want liberals to be, liberal Democrats to be the only major dominant party in this country? Is that what you want? I know some of you on the left, you're saying, yeah, Rod, because they got it right. They're the best ones. They got it right, man. Yeah, they got it right. I'm telling you right now, they don't have it right. They're not the best people to run this country. Mrs. Clinton is not the best person for the job. But she's out there early to try because she needs all that time to convince you that she is. Look, when you tell the truth, you're just going to be who you are. Your qualifications and your abilities are going to come shining through. You're not going to have to try to fake stuff and make stuff up. The fake it till you make it thing, that might work for people who are starting a business. And they have to have a certain mentality to believe that they're already a success while they're on their way to creating success. Doesn't work for politicians. You can't pretend that you're some all-powerful, godlike creature who's in public office and only answers to yourself. That's not how you fake it. You don't get to pretend that you're president when you're not. You don't get to pretend you're a senator when you're not. You don't get to pretend you're a representative in the House when you're not. You don't get to pretend that you're governor when you're not. That's not faking it till you make it. That's just plain lying and fakery. Plain and simple. I mean, people have to understand that we cannot afford to put people like that in places of high office. That takes a lot of trust. You need trustworthy people. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. You need to have trustworthy people in offices of power, because otherwise they'll be like Obama and they will abuse it and make our lives, the citizens, the people who have to live out here every day, miserable. I'm Rod Eccles. The end of the show to the day. You've been listening to The Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.